Child of Earth and Starry Heaven by Annette Binder, narrated by Jane Oppenheimer. For my mother and all her neighbors on the second floor. I am a child of earth and starry heaven, but descended from heaven. You yourselves know this. I am parched with thirst and dying. Quickly give me the cool water flowing from memory's lake. The gold leaf from Petalea, translated from the ancient Greek by Edward Jenner. Storms gather in your eye, gather and recede, and forgetting blooms in the space they leave. The heart is just a muscle, I tell myself every time I come to visit. It beats and beats until it doesn't. Electrical charges is all we are. I tell myself this too, simple charges bridging those dark spaces. And they fade like stars. They fail like all stars must, collapsing inward and breaking into their elements. But nothing can explain the manner of your departure. Tangles and plaques, the doctors say. It's a matter of cascading failures. But doctors are blind to the tides, the ebb and flow of awareness, and the hope that blooms with it only to wither. What strange attraction steals you from this world? What oceans sway against the pull of what strange moon? 1. When I was a child growing up in Colorado, my mother spoke to me in German, and I answered only in English. She'd scold me then. "You'll forget your mother language," she'd tell me, "and you'll be sorry when you're grown." But I ignored her. Speaking English, being American, not German, that was what I wanted. I wanted feathered hair and dinners of macaroni and cheese and sloppy joes, and not rouladen and liver dumpling soup. I wanted peanut butter sandwiches in my lunchbox, but I ate Milka chocolate bars on German rye bread instead, and everything was strange about us. Everything was a little off. "Where are you from?" people would ask me when I was 7 and 10 and 12 and 16, and they'd shake their heads when I said I was from Colorado. "Where did you come from before?" they'd say then. "Where were you born?" We came to the United States when I was 5.5 years old. My parents spoke only German to each other. They were from adjacent small towns in Bavaria, but it was my mother who insisted that I learn the language. She read me German fairy tales, and when I resisted her efforts to brush my mass of curls, she'd call me Struwwelpeter, the sloppy boy who lets his hair grow wild. But her efforts took on a whole new level of seriousness when I started 7th grade. "You're going to the high school," she announced with great satisfaction. "Every day you'll study German there, and then I'll take you to your school." And so there I was, 12 years old, wearing Mork and Mindy suspenders and surrounded by high school seniors taking first-year German because they needed one more language credit to graduate. I tried escaping only once. We were stopped at a red light, and I opened the door, but she yanked me back into the car by one of my pigtails. "Lieselein," she said, the nickname she alone used for me. "You'll be grateful when you're older. If you forget your German, you'll lose part of yourself, and you'll never get it back." For 3 years she took me to that high school every morning, and I was grateful only when it was all over. My relationship to the German language and to my own Germanness has always been uneasy. It was my first language, but it's also frozen in time. And so what I'm left with is a laundry room German, fluent to be sure, but with strange lacunae. I don't know how to say cell phone or tablet or social media. I can't talk politics or philosophy or economics, and I've made no real efforts to improve my skills. Into my 20s and 30s, and even my 40s, my mother would still speak to me in German, and I'd answer in English. And she'd shake her head, and I'd laugh at her dismay. And so it went. My husband doesn't speak the language, and my daughter doesn't either. And still,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?